Hello, welcome to Stephanie's Southern Kitchen. I had some cousins call and they wanted me to make a dressing like my grandmother and my mother always made. My grandmother made it and she taught my mom and my mom taught me. So this is like the family recipe for dressing. So first we start with the cornbread, and I'm going to do about half. It's called a pone in the South, but a half a pan of cornbread. And normally the bowl I would make of dressing would be about 4 times this big. So I broke it down to a smaller portion to be able to show you how to do this. So I'm going to take half of the cornbread, where normally I would take it all. Break it down into small pieces. Doesn't have to be too small, because by the time you add your onions, celery, and everything to it, it's going to break down even more. Just kind of get it workable. Okay, then take about a cup. This is 2 cups. Take about a cup of celery, a cup of onions, a cup of croutons. You can use croutons, anything, stovetop stuffing, anything you want. We'll use about half to start with. 3 slices of bread, which I'm going to use 2 because, like I said, this is a smaller batch than I normally make. Normally I would use 3 to 4. But I'll put this recipe down in the bottom so you'll be able to tell. Okay, and then about 1/4 of a cup of crackers. Okay, now we'll mix that all up real quick. These big pieces out. When I was growing up, I was always the taste tester, which is good because now I know how to kind of test to see if it's about right. I always like to get it just a little bit more flavor than what you want. That way, by the time it cooks and everything, it's about right. Okay. Then I'll start out with 3 teaspoons of sage. We do use a lot of sage. A lot of people doesn't use any, or maybe 1 or 2, but we like the sage. So we'll start out about 3 teaspoons. One teaspoon of pepper, and I always wait to the last on the salt because everything in here pretty much has salt. So you can oversalt it really quick. When I was first taste testing and everything, I didn't understand that, and we was making the dressing and I put the salt in, and Mom saw what I was doing too late. So we tested it, and it was way too salty. So the only way you can cure that is make more dressing. And by the time we got it ready, there was enough dressing probably for 2 Thanksgivings. So I learned after that, I always do salt last. Okay, so we've got all of our dry ingredients in here now. Now we'll start with, I had to use chicken broth today because we haven't done our turkey yet, so this will be done with chicken. But normally I would take the broth off the chicken or the turkey after we cook it. and the little packet that's inside the turkey. Cut that up and boil that while I'm doing all this, and then use that. Cut the meat up and use that in this too. And that's what I use for the liquid. Okay, it still doesn't have enough liquid in it. You want it almost like oatmeal, just a little drier than oatmeal, but more on that line. This is an old, really simple recipe, but it's an old one. A lot of people, they go ahead and fry the celery and the onions and saute them a little bit and everything, but by the time it cooks 45 minutes to an hour, all your vegetables are going to be cooked in there, and it's going to take away some of the flavor cooking them, and that way all your flavor is right here. So right now I'm just trying to get the consistency. Then when I get the consistency that I want, then we'll start taste testing and going from there using all this. So the ingredients are just a way to get started, because you're going to have to test. You might need more salt, more pepper, more onions, more celery. And with all that bread, it does take a lot of liquid. And you can taste test this because there's no raw eggs, anything like that in it. Okay, now let's see. A lot more sage. A lot more everything, actually. So that's 2 more teaspoons of sage. More celery. It's probably about another half a cup of celery. More onions. About another half a cup of onions. Now, we'll add a little bit of salt at this point because I know it wasn't too salty. We'll start out with 1 teaspoon. Now we'll start stirring again. And it's basically everybody's preference. Some families love sage, some don't. Some people use just poultry seasoning, but to me, I think you have to have sage to be a dressing, but that's the way I was taught. And a lot of people ask what the difference between dressing and stuffing is. Used to, you would stuff the turkey and then put the dressing on the outside in the pan. But now they say not to put it in there. It's a health hazard, poison, whatever. So that's the difference. Stuffing is when you put it inside the turkey. Dressing is just when it's on the outside. Needs a little bit more liquid. And you will make a mess with this. Okay, now we will taste test again. Plenty of celery. Need more onions. And maybe a little more salt. We'll put about a half a teaspoon of salt this time. And all of this is to preference. Some people doesn't even like onions. Some people doesn't like celery, sage. Every family is different, so this is something you do customize to your family. And if it had the meat from the giblets, that would have made this a lot better, but we don't have that yet, so. Okay, let's see. Trying to decide what it needs. Got sage, got onions. Let's go another half a teaspoon of salt. So that would make 2 teaspoons of salt. About a half a teaspoon more of black pepper. Get this stirred up and see what it does. Okay, now we'll try it again. And that's the way dressing is. You just keep taste testing till you get it the way you want it. And like I said, I always like to have a little more flavor than I want. That way when it cooks, it's about right. I think we've got it. Okay. I've got my oven set at 375. I'm going to take this butter. I like to use butter on the pan to give it a little bit extra flavor. Some people use oil, cooking spray, whatever you want to use, but like I said, I like to use butter. Then I'm going to take this butter right here and set it over here for a minute. Pour this into the pan. See, you want it pretty wet. Okay, spread it out. And then what we always do is take this butter, put little pats all over the top. Then put it in your oven at 375 degrees for about 45 minutes to an hour. Uncovered, because you want it to have a nice golden crust. So we will be back in 45 minutes. Okay, our timers went off, so we'll get our dressing out now. We had to cook it about 10 extra minutes, but this is what you want to see. You want to see a golden crust on the top, but you still want it to be firm on top, but still soft on the inside. So it actually was about 55 minutes. And so when it's done, you can take it out and try a taste test. And my question is, are you truly a Southern girl if you forgot the butter? Okay, we put butter on the top. We lined it with the butter, but we forgot to melt the butter and put in the mixture. So make sure you put a thing of butter, 1 stick of butter in the mixture. So let's try it. And while we're letting it cool, I don't know if you can see, it's turkey dressing. So it's turkey dressing and it's in my mother's handwriting. Christy, my stepdaughter, got it for me for Christmas, and I value this. I love it. It's, like I said, it's in my mother's own handwriting. And it's a pound of cornbread, 1 package of crackers, 5 slices of bread, croutons, 5 onions, stalk of celery, handful of sage, pepper, salt, turkey broth, 1 stick of butter, a can of cream or milk, and then mix it all up and add more of whatever you need. Don't use the whole box of crackers. So this is very special to me, but it shows you a lot of these recipes don't have an actual amount. It's just taste, trial, error. And like I said, they taught me to be the taste tester when I was small. I guess that was their way of training me to do this. But if you know someone that has a recipe like that, this would be a great Christmas gift for someone. Okay, so this should be cool. We'll try it now. Can't really tell about the butter. Can't tell that it isn't in there, but it would make it a little bit more smooth. So yeah, make sure you put your stick of butter in there next time. And thank you for watching, and hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying this channel. Thanks. Bye.